You're talking to the family home.
Yeah, my little
You
actual
said,
driveway.
Mum, I'm going to set up a tent
Yeah.
in our driveway where we used to park the cars, and now I'm going to
That's
sell burgers
hectic.
out of there.
Yeah.
Guys, we're mid-podcast filming with one of our biggest guests so far, and you won't believe what happened. We've got this blackout in the whole building. So we literally power down. We're mid-podcast. We've had to stop.
And so people are keen to jump on a bandwagon where it's like, oh, it's overrated, or this is the honest review on this or that, when it might not be judged based on anything with substance.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Lat Chat. Today we're joined by a man who turned backyard burgers into full-blown Sydney phenomenon. He's a cook, an influencer, a business owner, and once upon a time, an accountant. We're going to have to talk about that. He popped up at the Sydney Easter Show, in your Instagram feed, in the gym, and at Bankstown Central. Habibi, the man, the myth, the smash patty king himself, Chebbo. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
What an intro. Pleasure to be here.
Man,
Nice to have you here, bro.
That's it.
Tufik, of course, bro. Thanks for jumping on. My co-founder, the genius of the Latitude office, bro. Thanks for being here, bro. I was just saying, every time you jump on a podcast, we go viral. So now you're going to be a mainstay. We're going to leave you there, get all your insights, and see if you can send us to the moon.
Bro, you're putting pressure on me.
Nah, look. All right. So, Chebbo, what the hell, bro? You were starting out as an accountant. Who on earth is crazy enough to leave accounting to sell burgers? What's going on?
Look, I loved accounting, but I just wasn't too good at it, to be honest. So I started off, I wanted to do a business degree, and I came across this course from UTS where it was a Bachelor of Accounting, but it was a co-op scholarship. So what that is pretty much a couple of businesses, they'll sponsor the course, they'll do seminars, and they'll have set up internships for you. And from there, you're able to get experience in the field and then pretty much get a job after. So it was safe, it was a guaranteed job. It was like perfectly lined up. I knew that for business, you got to have a good accounting base. And so that's what I did. And so it was great.
Yeah.
When I was there, a few companies were good, a few companies not so good. But yeah, once I started making burgers, it was a bit more of an attractive option.
It's a bit more attractive. I never looked back from there.
Yeah, 100% didn't. I'm very aware of risk, but yeah, it just felt right. And I had the chops to do it. So I was like,
It's easy,
might as
bro.
well.
Like, it's very hard for a pill for us to swallow. As lifelong accountants,
Yep.
we look at this as God's work. This is like, accounting is the most important profession. And then everything else, like, you have to really convince us that you're doing the right thing. You know, we're like your parents. It'll be like parents. You know, what was actually like? What was it like with parents or family when you said, "I'm going to do that shift"?
All right, so I started off testing first. So I didn't, make one jump all out of nowhere. So I made sure that, before I did anything, the burgers were just a side hustle. And that's what it was, I was planning to do it as something that I did once a month, once a week on the side while I worked full-time in accounting, just for some extra pocket money because I like cooking as a side hustle. I was always into that kind of stuff, where I like a bit more on my plate and I feel the best when I'm busiest. And so that's what it was. I started in 2019, December was our first pop-up. And then that was great. Amazing turnout from the community. I think we had like 400 followers on Instagram in 24 hours just from all these friends like shouting us out and then following. So we sold maybe 250 burgers on that first pop-up out of a Bunnings tent.
Wow.
Yeah, sold out. And then next month we did one. Eventually COVID comes. And so I was like, all right, what's going on here? I was working from home for one of my internships and still doing uni from home. But then I saw the New South Wales government, they said that, all right, if you have a food business, you can trade from home. And so I was like, all right, perfect, that's what I'll do. And so because I was so bored and nothing else to do besides stay at home, I set up a tent in my driveway in Punchbowl, selling burgers Friday, Saturday nights.
the area.
You're talking to the family home.
Yeah, my
You
little
said,
actual driveway.
Mum, I'm going to set up a tent
Yeah.
in our driveway where we used to park the cars, and I'm going to
That's
sell burgers
hectic.
out of there.
Yeah, and they were tripped out, but they didn't push back. They were like, look, keep it clean, and that's it. There was one time, oh my God, where we spilled oil on the driveway. And then it was me and my two cousins were like, bro, clean it up right now before my dad comes out. My dad comes out. He didn't say a word. And and that's like,
You're in trouble.
I put soap all over there. I'm scrubbing. I'm getting rags. I'm getting them up. It was one of the scariest moments of my life. But they supported me. It was a funny time as well because you know how tight it was during COVID. Everyone was just going crazy. We had the cops called a few times to our house. his neighbours thought we were having parties because we'd have music and stuff, but like we're selling food, not parties. And cops would come past, they drove, and they'd be like, look, make sure everyone's social distancing. But thankfully at the time I was also posting TikTok, so which we haven't touched on yet. But some of the cops would recognize me from TikTok. They'd be like, you're a good man. Just make sure
It's funny. He said something that you would resonate with. He said it was like one of the scariest days of my life because like my dad coming home seeing we ruined the driveway. Bro, why is it like that? I can tell you a story myself. My dad was a taxi driver. So
my dad started off as a taxi
driver.
I
did too? What's your dad's name? No, I'm joking.
Maybe
brothers. No, I'm joking. So my dad came. I was chasing my brother around the house, and my mum was there. And I was a big boy. All right, I was a fat kid. All right, let's just call it that. I was a fat kid.
Right.
My brother was 5 years younger than me. And I was also a fat adult. That's a different story. But anyway, I was chasing my brother. He's 5 years younger than me. And he ran into the bedroom. And I was sprinting as hard as I could after him. I'm running. He runs into the room, my brother Jack. He turns around. He smashes the door closed. And we had the cheap internal doors that they're hollow. And I'm running. I can't stop in time. My leg goes straight through the door. And we break the door. And then like we all fall over. He falls over. I'm bashing him. He's crying. My mum comes. She pulls us apart. She goes, wait till your dad gets home. The problem for me is my dad didn't get home at 6 p.m. My dad got home at 3 in the morning. So I went to sleep, but I went to sleep scared because I thought as soon as my dad comes home, there's a hole in the door. Bro, we grew up in Greenacre with not a lot of money. Yeah. I don't know what things cost. I just think a hole in the door means we have to sell the house. My dad's like, that's the game over. Like, I broke the house. I've never broken the house before. I broke the house. So I go to sleep. My dad comes in and... he saw it and he just said, like, that's totally fine, guys. I understand. And we also lived happily ever after. That's exactly not what happened. My dad woke me up and woke my brother up and he made us stand in the hallway for the rest of the night like this with our hands on our heads.
Against the wall?
Yeah, against the wall. As a punishment for, bro, the fear of him coming home was worse than the actual punishment itself. But
it's
do you have any stories like that?
My whole childhood. But I'm trying to make sense of this, right? Yeah. Your parents were inside the house, relaxing, while you're playing loud music at what time?
This would be like 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
You're good parents.
11 o'clock at night, you're playing loud music at the front.
And we'd have guests over sometimes.
All these randoms in front of your house.
In my driveway, shut them out. Filming TikToks and everything, like
your parents
would
they're very nice, very modern, new age.
Look, because I was doing something, they're like,
this is doing something.
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, going out. But I'd have guests over sometimes. Run out of salt. I'd run all greasy into the kitchen while I've got guests there. Grab salt and go back. It was hilarious how I wouldn't ever do that again if that was like recreated circumstances.
Sometimes you look back and you go, that was crazy.
Yeah, like how to do that. But
Anyway, we got you here. We're very lucky to have you here. So thanks for being here. Bro, I want to play just a quick ranking game with you. We're going to rank these Sydney food hotspots from 1 to 5. And you're the professional. You're the food expert amongst us. So I'm going to give you the 5. Okay? And I want you to rank them from 5 to 1, from worst to best. Okay. All right? And the 5 are El Jannah, Guzman Gomez, Rashays, Harry's, and Chebbo Burgers.
Harry's,
Cafe de Wil.
Look, Harry's I've never tried. So by default.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've drove past the one at Vivo and there's one near me in Marrickpool.
Yeah.
Look, by default, they're going to have to go 5 because I haven't tried them.
Yes.
What else? There's Guzman, El Jannah,
Rashays, and Chebbo.
I feel bad, bro. No, all right. Rashays is 4th.
Rashays number 4.
Yeah.
Why?
Like the price to what you're getting isn't there. Like I see what it's going for, like in terms of the fast casual dining, but people I think aren't after that anymore, And so
the audiences, the clientele has moved.
Yeah, 100%. The clientele nowadays is like the what do you call it? The 18 to 25-year-olds, and they are all depressed because they're never going to buy a house. And a lot of them don't have money. And so it's like, all right, for the $25, I can get a schnitzel and chips. I can also, get a burger meal from Chebbo's or a chicken meal from El Jannah.
Yeah.
And
that's fair
have
enough.
less tied to it,
All right. You don't have kids. That's why you're putting Rashays forward.
So kids.
Makes
your life easy, man.
Bro, you go there, they give you ice cream for the kids, they give us toys to play on, they give you drinks, they give you toys. They make your life easy as a parent, but we're ancient. You don't have to worry about that. So that's the 5 Harry's, 4 Rashays. Now you still got Guzman Gomez, El Jannah, and Chebbo Burgers.
Look, I'm going to put myself as a first, no bias. Full bias. Because depends.
What are you putting yourself as? Are you putting yourself as which number?
The first one.
Number one, yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back to you number one, but let's go then. Who's number three between Eljana and Guzman Gomez?
All right. Both of them are right next to my house. Guzman literally opened up this past week in Punch Bowl.
Yeah.
I went there yesterday. I'm gonna have to say Guzman. I feel like Eljana, obviously, like you can't go past the chicken. The charcoal's great.
Yeah.
But Guzman just hits, bro. Like there's just so much more variety in the food. You know, for the let's say I'm spending the average of $25 for myself.
Yep.
I'll get a burrito bowl with a bit of everything: veggies, rice, beans, chicken, sour cream, bit of chili.
Yeah.
Whereas at Eljana, it's like the fried box or one of those charcoal chicken boxes, which are nice.
Yeah.
But it's just different, bro. Especially like Lebos, where you say charcoal chicken.
It's your food you love. It's the dum, the chicken, the garlic, bro. You got to.
So the Mexican's different.
Number one then. Chebbo burgers, bro.
Yeah.
What's so good about Chebbo burgers? Tell me in your own words.
Look, we do it simple. Like nowadays, especially because everyone on social media is doing the next viral to buy this, viral to buy that.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to stay to the path, but it's like, all right, the patty's 100% just straight beef with salt, a bit of seasonings, but like that's it. Special sauce and some veggies, and like, all right, that's all we want to do. Even chicken, we don't sell chicken burgers. And everyone's like, bro, what's wrong with you? Sell chicken, or they used to do tenders. But I feel like it kind of dilutes the brand, and it's like, all right, if I want to be the best I can at beef burgers, if I introduce chicken or anything else or get distracted, I'm getting my 100% effort and splitting it into two different things.
Yeah.
And you look at all these big businesses across the US, like Raising Cane's, they went crazy, or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
They only do chicken, for example. In-N-Out, only pretty much 2 burgers. And so it allows them to really double down on what they're doing and pretty much know it back to front. And so that's what we're trying to do, you know. And I started off no cooking background besides Macca's and just a big stomach. And so that's what I've been trying to do.
You did the Macca's internship.
Yeah, pretty much. I was there for pretty much 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Like, I didn't know that about you. So the Macca's, that's your food experience. What did the Macca's experience, how was that formative for Chebbo's Burgers? And what did you take from that experience and apply in your business?
It 100% was. And the reason why is because you remember the Create Your Taste range? Mm-hmm. The gourmet burgers. So you go there, you order on the screen your full custom burger. It'd come out on a tray with like the basket of fries, and it was fully custom.
Nice.
So when that rolled out, it wasn't part of the main Macca's line. It was a separate station, separate grill. You'd have like 10 different sauces, 10 different toppings, and each burger was like custom made, and it'd take like 5-8 minutes. We'd have to, as a 15-year-old, be trained how to like sear a patty, flip it. And those burgers, I don't know if it's because back then that was the best I've tried, but like they were amazing.
Yeah.
And so having that fun of creating custom burgers and really making it like an art form, because you'd have to build it yourself and everything. It was just fun. And so mixing that kind of creativity of burgers mixed with the Macca's systems and processes and flows, that really equipped me with, the skills to have the confidence, pseudo-confidence, whatever you want to call it, to start. And then when I started learning.
What's your flagship burger? Like, what's the go-to, the main or main product?
Honestly, they're all very similar. Like, it's all smashed. The base is the milk bun, smashed patty, cheese, burger sauce, and then it's just the veggies between them. But lately, I've been saying the classic, which is lettuce, tomato, onion.
Lettuce, tomato, onion with the sauce. Awesome, man. What's your of these 5 Tufik? Eljana, Guzman, Rashes, Harry's. Leave Chebbo after this because we know it's your favorite. Of those other 4, which one's your favorite?
It's got to be Eljana, man. I'm not a man who loves a lot of flavor. I don't like too much going on.
Like it simple, huh?
Yeah, I just like it simple. And the older I get, the less adventurous I'm becoming.
Yeah.
Right? That's a problem because you're not adventurous as it is.
Yeah, I know. And I'm becoming less and less adventurous. So just
our marketing coordinator says Tufik doesn't like meals. He likes ingredients.
So it's just, the bread.
He's like, give me some tomato, give me some salami.
It's like the Balkan breakfast.
Give me some olive oil, give me some olives. Like
That's pretty much what liver breakfast are.
Yeah, he orders ingredients.
That's the way I like it.
Yeah.
Right, Guzman Gomez, you're saying, the burrito bowl. I'm thinking to myself, there's too much going on.
Honestly,
I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's like an artwork in terms of different colors and the sauce going that way. It's
but it's too much going on. It's like Indian food. I can't do it because there's just too much going on.
Yeah, the spices.
It's too complex.
Even making it, bro, forget about it. Like there's so many spices. I love it, but it's
I want to throw a spanner in the works. Excuse the pun. Spanian's kebabs.
I haven't tried them, bro.
I haven't tried them.
You know what? But so, did you see the vlog where he was doing Sydney's best burger?
Yes.
So this is a bit of tea where he was meant to come to Chebbo's.
Yeah.
And so it was Ramadan at like the time when everyone breaks their fast.
Yeah.
So he'd come down at that time where it was like the longest line.
Oh, long queue.
And so I seen him in line. I'm like, what the hell, Spanian's here? That's hectic. All right. I put my head down and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to pump through this line and then get back to him, like to try and call him over or whatever. So I put my head down 5 minutes. I looked up, the line's moved.
Right.
All right, sweet. Put my head down for another 5 minutes. I look up and he's gone. I'm like, bro, there is no way. And so I guess he just got sick of the line.
He got over it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I waited till the vlog came out. I checked the vlog.
Yeah.
And you see him before. He's like, yeah, Chebbo's lad, let's go try Chebbo's best rated, blah, blah, blah. And then you see him come back. He's like, bro, stuff that. I'm never going there again. Blah, blah.
No,
and I was spewing like it would have been a mad opportunity. But
he missed out. He missed out on the best burgers in Sydney.
Yeah, look, if he's come back, I don't know. But yeah, it would have been a mad opportunity. But we didn't really, like, we still got, I think, a boost in sales afterwards because even though he didn't try it, he still showed that we were too busy to try. And so it was a mad thing where
Hold on, is that why you're not trying his kebabs? Because he didn't try
it.
Look, it's out of my way. It's out of my way. That's all I'm going to say.
Let me say something. I tried Spanian's kebabs.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an honest opinion. All right, Spanian's kebabs, they're good if that's what you like. If you like trying something that is like it's just a set menu, and he's doing that weird shaped bread and that.
Bread,
Me being Lebanese, the way I grew up eating both shawarma or kebabs or whatever, like it's not conventional for me. It's too left field. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like it was a novelty. It was like we got there, Spanian's kebabs. It's nice. It's a different flavor. It's unique. I haven't had anything like that.
Was it enjoyable?
It was good. It was good. It was a good thing. But like, will I ever drive back there to have another one? Probably not.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like I'm not going to go out of my way. I won't say they're shit. Whatever. I'm not going to lie. Like it was good. It was fine. But I don't like I would rather just honestly just eat a good kebab, just conventional.
Yeah.
Or go to a burger shop, then go drive there to eat that because it's a special thing. It's his own
especially
unique
with heavy with the sauce and everything. It looked like a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on. Anyway, we're going to play a game now. These are the paddles. There's agree and disagree, front and back. All three of us will do it. You just point it at the camera when I ask, and then we'll go through your agree or disagree. All right? So, agree or disagree. You can build a successful business out of any passion or hobby. I'm going to say agree. You're going to agree. Chebbo, go for it.
Yeah, but literally anything there is, you can build a business. You can even like, what I was thinking of is that you can do well in anything. If you're like the best rubbish management guy working at a company, for example, you learn, you pick up the skills, you rise through the ranks, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in the company or start your own. Like, that's the thing where people look down on certain professions. People are making money in everything, whether it's concrete or waste management, burgers, whatever it is. Just be good at what you do. And whatever is your side, especially now on the internet, bro. You got people doing, like Nathan, you just had on brand management. What was the role?
Yeah, it does like marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And like
brand psychology. Yeah,
brand psychology, which obviously was around, but especially nowadays with social media, there's so many more niches and things to go into. People are spending money on anything, and so if you're good at what you do, you can 100% do it out of it.
Look, you can, right? But you can build a successful business out of any passion or hobby. Look, unfortunately, sometimes if you're very smart, right, and you do well as an accountant, and then you come up with some other hobby, like you want to build a business from rock climbing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't build a business out of anything, right?
Although you can build one out of rock climbing.
You can build it out of rock climbing, but like sometimes you're not going to be as successful or make as much money as opposed to, say, being a GP. Like if you're a GP 100%. In your day job, right, and I like sandwiches and I want to build a sandwich shop. Nah, don't worry about making sandwiches. Don't worry about your hobby or passion. Stick to your day job.
The execution, I think, is the variable where it's like, all right, let's pick something like dog leashes, for example. The way I put my head around it is that if you start making, for example, content around it, you become the guy who is the dog leash expert who knows, all right, what dog do you have? What kind of leash? What stage of dog training are you at?
Yeah.
You're able to start your own website, do advisory for rich people on the dog leashes. Like the way I'm at now is that you've got access to everyone in the world, the 8 billion people.
Correct.
There's going to be someone who's going to buy it.
Correct.
And you can just double down so hard on a niche that you'll find your X amount of customers.
In America, they say the riches are in the niches because they don't know how to say niches. Yeah. So they say niches. The riches are
oregano.
Yeah. So the reason, you're 100% right. You hit the nail on the head. Now in the internet age, you can develop a niche and you can hit a market you couldn't have hit before. So like if you were in a village of 400, 500 people and you wanted to basically sell dog collars.
Yeah.
Bro, there's 2 dogs in that village and they're probably going to eat the dog.
You know what I mean? Times get tough.
But now in a world of, again, billions of people, if you love customized dog leashes, you'll find, if you need 500,000 sales over the next 5 years to be profitable, you'll find your 500,000 dog lovers. Yeah. They're just on the other side of the world and we're now more connected than we've ever been. I get it. It's hard to say any passion. Well. It's hard to say any passion or hobby. But bro, there's almost, a market for any weird hobby or passion or thing out there. Bro, I post videos about the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs and people get excited and I like them. Like everyone's got these weird niches, weird hobbies. I've got a friend, she's got a YouTube page where she talks about birds. Who cares about birds, bro? Yeah, you know how big of a market birds are?
Yeah,
birds
massive.
Is huge. It's like I've never given 1 ounce of thought to birds. But
depending on the seeds and the cages and the training.
Bro, there are bird people out there. Yeah. There's a whole bird community. I don't know where they're hiding. Bro, bird lovers.
At the Easter show, bearded dragons, I met a lady who works for one of my friends. There was a bearded dragon. You know what a bearded dragon is? It's like a lizard. Yeah. Bearded dragon judging competition. And they dress them in suits and there's like training for it. Like, how random's bearded dragons, but it's
there's a market for it.
And like they were all like, it was a community.
Yeah. So, well, you did the Easter show. What was the Easter show like?
It was insane. It's like the hardest time of the year in terms of like the setup, the planning, the forecasting, getting the team ready, organizing a roster, and then on the spot where it's like fighting every fire that does come up.
Yeah.
And the early mornings, the late nights, making sure the system's well oiled and you're producing good food at the same time. And then the wind down, which is a bit easier, but the recovery.
It's more like. Would you say it's more like preparing for a fight than it is a business? Because like it's an event. It happens in a rush. Because I reached out to you before that to have a chat, and you're like, bro, just please, I'll talk to you after the Easter show. I am flat because it's like you're a fighter getting ready.
Yeah,
you're in a camp.
Like I could have. All right, fit in the time to do this podcast, but like you just want to be locked in and like. Zoned.
You got to sell 2,000 burgers a day or whatever crazy number you're selling, right? Like you got to get ready and you got to produce. And if you fail in that mission, it's like losing a fight. You lose your reputation.
100%. And that's another
one influencer comes out and says, I went to Chebbo's burgers. It was undercooked. It was rubbish. Right, it goes viral. What are you going to do?
And that's the double-edged sword of it where it's like, all right, if I can do well there and make sure that every burger is going out well, people who will come try it will try us again when we open in the area or they'll come travel to us. Or they'll see the long line. They'll be like, all right, I'll try them next time I see them.
Yeah.
Other side of that, if we're putting out rubbish food, they'll judge us on that one moment. And that's why we don't do Uber, for example, because it's like...
They judge you on one review.
Yeah, one review. And people are... Look, you'll get a lot of people who are keen to support, but I'll notice in the comment sections, if someone says, for example, Spanian's kebab's overrated, 1 million people will like the comment.
Yeah.
Half of them will try it. Yeah, 100%. And so people are keen to jump on a bandwagon where it's like, oh, it's overrated, or this is an honest review on this or that, when it might not be judged based on anything with substance.
I wish the general public understood this one thing about Google reviews. They're so powerful and you got to be really, really careful about what you're doing. I feel so bad for small businesses, especially food establishments, that do millions and millions of things so well, thousands of decisions, products, burgers, plates hitting the table with perfection. One thing goes wrong. One person has a bad experience. One person's having a bad day. Especially if you're not a business owner, you don't understand how much damage you're doing if you jump on and you leave a 1-star Google review on someone's page. That is so powerful, but also so damaging. Bro, in my life, I almost feel like I wouldn't give a 1-star review to my worst enemy.
Never.
I've never ever done it. I'll never do it unless like something ridiculous, like they've actually harmed my health.
Yeah, if they're racist and they're,
like something horrific.
Like that.
Because bro, one negative review, you jump on Google reviews, you click sort by worst. That's the first thing you're gonna see is that 1-star review. They have 800 5-star reviews. You see the one negative one, and it's gonna be in your head. Oh, the burger was raw, or this or that. Do you know what I mean? We had a client this week. This guy missed a meeting. Bro, the client was so nice. He jumped on to Google. After the meeting, you get a request, leave us a review. He jumped on. He left a 5-star review.
Yeah, he did.
And said, "Hey, you missed my meeting, but you guys have such good reviews. I wouldn't want to leave you a 1-star review."
See that guy? He understands.
He understands. He gets it. That's what. So it's reviews are so important. They're so powerful. But also leave a good review, because a good review is powerful. Why is a good review powerful? Because when you leave a good review, the business owner knows that you're leaving reviews. Let's say we're an accounting firm. We don't have to say, let's say we are an accounting firm. We've got like 400 5-star reviews. I know every one of those people on that list. I know that if I don't do a good service for them every single time I engage in them in the next 10 years, they'll go back to that Google review. They'll update that review from 5 to 1.
Yeah.
So now
service has dropped.
The service has dropped. Yeah. So now I know, you're a Google reviewer, bro. You're more powerful to me. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to take care of you even better. So Google reviews are powerful. Use them wisely and use them responsibly.
It encourages businesses to live up to their Google reviews.
You live up to your reputation, bro.
Right. If you're a 3-hatted restaurant, right, every day you walk into work, you say, "I'm serving a 3-hatted restaurant. I'm serving."
And the team knows it as well.
Yes, right. The team knows it. The boss knows it. Everyone knows it. And if you're a 4.9 rated restaurant chain, mate, you got to put your A game on when you walk in, because you've got to hold to that standard.
It's like playing for the doggies, If lately you want to be lazy, you won't be able to, because you know that's what you're trying to live up to.
100%.
But no, 100%. It is a shame that you have some people come 10 times and then have amazing experiences, and the one time they don't come, it's not as good, and then they'll leave a 1-star. Or as well, statistically, let's say if I'm doing 1,000 burgers a week, 1% of that is 10. Yeah. As clearly started counting. Perfect. But yeah, for example, if we only mess up 1% of burgers, that's 10 messed up burgers. And if they all leave a review...
Let me interrupt you to say this, because this is on that point. Agree or disagree? The hospitality industry is more brutal than most people realize.
100% agree.
Yeah, that we all agree.
So what's your experience in hospitality being brutal?
What's everyone's experience with food, Food your mum serves to you when you're young. I don't like this. I love this. There's so much emotion tied to food. Me, myself, that's why I got into it. You're sharing food over your best moments and your worst moments. You get dumped, you're smacking ice cream. You're getting married, you're enjoying great food.
Guys, we're mid-podcast filming with one of our biggest guests so far, and you won't believe what happened. We've got this blackout in the whole building. So we literally power down. We're mid-podcast. We've had to stop. Come have a look at our setup. We can't even finish the podcast because the electricity's gone. Have a look.
Out.
We've got Jacob here. We've got Chebbo. What's going on, bro?
Too much aura, bro. The lights are off.
Bro, as soon as we bring the guy in, everything cuts out. It's like a sign. Like, I don't know what's going on. But, I mean, this is just a shambles. I'm so sorry.
Nah, it's alright, we're hanging now.
I'd like to make a public apology to Chebbo because I brought him all the way to the Latitude offices.
All the way from Punchbowl.
To do a podcast, and then we had the lights cut out. First time ever. I feel like we live in working in a third world country.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully we get back on soon and we can, get a podcast happening. Guys, we are back from a blackout situation. We've got a makeshift studio, the Lat Chat, because we had Chebbo in person. So we're going to just continue the chat where we left off. What we're discussing is the hospitality industry is more brutal than most people realize. So I think ultimately that was a hard agree on all people.
100% hard agree.
Do you know something for me that actually the first foray into realizing how brutal hospitality was, when I would watch those restaurant shows what's the guy who screams in the Gordon Ramsay, Kitchen Nightmares. And then I had a cousin who actually went on one of those shows. She had a restaurant in Parramatta. She went on one of those shows where they come in and they try to give you tips. And the problem is, just to make the shows look dramatic, they make your restaurant look a lot worse than what it is. 100%. And then they try to give you tips to improve. But what happened to her, unfortunately, was straight after the show, she lost all her customers.
Why?
Because they made them look bad, and you got to do this, better do that, blah blah blah. They over exaggerated, made everything dramatic. But bro, it's people's food. How are you gonna put your business out there on show in front of everyone and not control the narrative? As soon as someone goes, if there's even an allusion to the fact that you're not hygienic, or you're not doing something right, or the food's no good, or something's wrong, you're just gonna no one's gonna roll the dice with their health. So, bro, you're dealing with people's food. It's brutal.
Yeah, food, hygiene, emotions, their personal trauma. If you're growing up and everyone's always punching over the dinner table, you're going to associate food with all those punch-ons. And yeah, it's especially people get hangry. So if you got a long line and people are waiting in line, they're gonna judge you harshly. There's so many variables and for slim margins.
What are the stress levels like when you see 50 people turn up, you're understaffed, you don't know if you have enough meat?
Bro, that happens so often. It's because as well, look, I still have my heart in the game so much where it's like in those situations where we had it all the time at the truck because it's a food truck, you can't really, like, you get enough for the day. You see a long line and you got to turn people away. It just hurts so much because people would see you on, for example, TikTok, they'd be excited to come down, they're planning it with their mates, they park up, they walk down, they wait in line for 10, 20 minutes, they see something dwindling and then to turn them away. It's just terrible. It's terrible and it hurts. And a lot of people say, oh, bro, look, that's just business, like, get your heart out of it. But I feel like it's a double-edged sword where obviously you put your heart into it and you really care and you have the passion to really drive it forward and really worry about the small details. Then again, it does weigh you down when, you have moments like that and you've got to turn away people and you just feel terrible about it.
I feel like your Lebanese culture is bleeding through that sentiment too. Like the idea that people will come to your house. When you're a kid, then your mum would cook and you'd be like, Mum, who's all this food for? Yeah. It's like, oh, you don't know. People come, your cousins might come over.
Even for a coffee, you got 7 different types of nuts. You got a whole fruit shop there just in front of them all.
Bro, as God is my witness to this day, if my dad does a barbecue, there is enough food for 4 barbecues. He does not know how to cut off. So we've got that mentality of like Arab hospitality. So my dad is over ordering and it's that Lebanese hospitality. Like people are coming over, you got to make sure that there's enough food. So then now it's your business and your reputation on the line. It's like, is selling out of like burgers or food, some people look at that scarcity as a good thing, like it's marketing.
Yeah. People think of it as a flex, and especially I wasn't seeing much of it when I first started. So for example, 2020, 2021, where we post sold out, that's a warning. Like, check the stories, don't come. Like, I don't want to turn you away because obviously to come here and have no food, like that's a terrible feeling. So that's a warning to customers, not really a flex. And obviously it's a great sign that your business is doing well and you're not able to meet demands. But then when you started seeing a lot more people posting, sold out, flexing, like, all right, it's good that you sold out, but you're also turning away people who've, taken the time out of the day to come and want to support your business but haven't been able to. And it's not a terrible thing on the business as in like they're guilty of. But it's a lot of reframing in the back end, thinking of not just a line, but 50 people waiting.
Yeah. There's 50 people waiting. And then if I think about like selling out, like my problem with selling out is that, it creates scarcity mindset. It might create like a buzz or a brand or whatever. But on the other side, though, like let's say you had 50 sales you could have made and you didn't. Yeah. That's 50 lots of profit and margin that you missed out on. So you want to try with the same overhead. Yeah. So the fixed costs haven't changed. You're 100% right. And that brings me to my next question, because you said fixed overhead as an accounting expert. Agree or disagree, gents? A degree in accounting is the most practical thing you can have to run a business. I'm going to go disagree.
Why are you disagreeing?
You're an accountant.
I was meant to be the outlier.
All right. I'm going to say disagree because it doesn't say accounting skills are the most practical thing to run a business. Accounting degrees, and I hate degrees, bro.
Let's flip it over. If you ask me anything from my degree, I can't report to you. I have an accountant who does everything.
The moment I got my accountant, he's like, bro, I'm going to save you $6,000 right now. I'm like, oh, mad, because I messed up my BAS. So 100% accounting skills, yes, which I've got the degree and not the skills. What
accounting skills do you use in your business? Tell me about what accounting is doing for you.
The only thing that I did retain was the Excel skills, and that I know pretty well, and that helps so much where I'll speak to other business owners or friends, they'll have no way around Excel. Just being able to, get all this raw data and process it and transform it.
What do you use Excel for in your business, like specifically?
I'm not a forecasting. Now I've got software now that does do like calculating costs of goods and a lot of ratios and capturing data to then, make a graph out of it or a table. And then,
so like what about like staffing or rostering or...
Rostering that, I've got an app, Deputy.
But like what about when you're ordering food? Because I've never worked in hospitality, never ran a restaurant. But how do you, this is something that's hard for me to understand. Our work is seasonal. We know how many tax returns we have to do, BASs, and we have enough workers for them, and it's the same every year. Yeah. How do you go into a business where you just open your doors and you don't know who's going to turn up? How do you account for that? How do you order food? How do you work that out?
All right, so it's just data. So at the start, we didn't have the data, and because of the virality because of how well TikTok was doing, we didn't know what was happening, and so that's why we'd sell out. Now it's actually crazy how, for example, we're trading 5 days a week. The Thursday will be half of last Thursday, but when the week finishes, it'll be up or down by 1%. Wow. And so every single week, it's like within a very tight 5% swing.
Super consistent.
Very consistent. Even though, all right, the Sunday day trade was much busier, the night will be a bit quieter. So everything balances out on a weekly basis. And so, for example, with veggies, you can sort it out, and buns and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know what it is, but it does allow you to see patterns and trends. And then I'll know that, all right, because this week's Mother's Day, it'll be a bit quieter, I can adjust. But yeah, it's usually just looking at data from the back.
Okay. Last, agree or disagree? Get ready, Tufik. Social media is more important than food quality for a restaurant's success today. Disagree for me.
I'm going to have to disagree.
You go first, Tufik.
Seems passionate.
Mate, I don't care how fancy and how pretty your social media is. I don't care how good your marketing is. If the food's no good, mate, you get found out. It's very easy to fake it. In life, you can fake it. In every aspect of life, you can fake it. But you get found out very quickly, especially in food, right?
About 6 minutes it takes to eat the food.
Correct. Word spreads fast. Right? People go there because, oh, look, it's pretty. It looks like it's got a nice experience, right? And people go there. But how long does that virality last? How many restaurants have you seen pop up? They're cranking for 3 months, and then all of a sudden, like remember the yogurt? The whole yogurt phrase, the frozen yogurt. Mate, it came up so quick. Everyone was going there, and I tried. I'm like, what's this trash? Right? I go, this ain't going to last. This is a fad. And I called it right from the very beginning. It got absolutely hammered. Doesn't matter how viral something is. This whole Dubai chocolate thing. Bro, I'm sorry. It's not that exciting.
No,
right?
it's nice, but like to sustain it, yeah.
It's a fad. It's going.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, social media is important. It can get things started, but you got to have a great product to keep it going.
Dubai chocolate?
It's a katafi mixed with pistachio.
Oh, right.
So texture and flavour, which is, yeah, it's nice, but you're not going to have it more than once a month, from my opinion.
No, you're going to have it once.
I've had it once, that's it.
So for you, I mean, you're the guy with the with the big social following and the restaurant.
Yeah.
What's the relationship there between the socials and the food quality and the business running well versus the socials running well?
I feel like in food, the only customer service as well, but the only thing that matters is the quality. You can have zero marketing spend, but still do well as a food business, because eventually, word of mouth, you were telling me before about places that you like. All right, I'll try them out.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to tell people about their favorite place to go. They'll take their friends, they'll take their family. Same thing with if a place isn't good. The only thing that social media does is just speed up that process. And so, all right, a place just opens up and it's great. This person posts about it. This person posts about it. And all these other, because now it's like a network of food influencers where they obviously want views for their own channel. So they're going to try the newest, hottest thing and then give their thoughts. And if everyone's saying it's great, and if the product is great, amazing. Yeah. But then as soon as, like you said, things start to tip, the beauty of social media is that then you get the video saying, all right, I tried out this place and it didn't live up to the standard, or here's a brutally honest review on this place. Yeah. And then they just get slammed. Yeah.
You're right, that social media, bro, Latitude's got a big brand. Yeah. They've got restaurants and they've been around a long time. They don't, as far as I know, push any social, or maybe they do now in a small scale, but like originally didn't. And so if you can get enough people through your doors and do a good enough service, the word of mouth will generate the business. The product will market it.
On social media, advertising, marketing, it's all the same thing. It puts people through your door. But if your underlying product is poor, you get found out in any industry.
Yeah.
You know, there was an accounting firm that flew last year, right? In the last 2 years, it got to top 100 very quickly. Advertised, everyone was joining.
They went from 0 to 11 million in sales and 100 staff in less than 12 months.
What?
For an accounting firm.
How's that even possible? What were they pushing?
Crazy marketing.
Crazy marketing. It's all it was. But what happened?
Making promises they couldn't keep.
That's it. That they got found out. Their product was poor. They were not good accountants. They were good marketers, right? And it got found out, and they went into liquidation. Right?
There you go.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and you think accountants would know better?
100%.
And sucked into it.
Yeah.
But you look as well, like, all right, think of amazing businesses right now. Put some in your head. The only measure of the great business is if it's around the 50 years. You know, if, like you're saying, that was amazing, $11 million in revenue, but then it's shut. So how good is that? You know. Yeah. So I think the time is the only factor that matters.
All right, some time for debate and discussion, guys. I've got a topic here. how much of your success, Chebbo, do you credit to TikTok? And how much do you think that the actual product and the hustle behind the scenes? How much do you think is the actual product versus the hustle behind the scenes?
I think it's a good combination between the two. We just touched on it, you know? So I feel like if the product wasn't good, then would have been exposed and people would have found out and never came again. But the fact that we've had regulars for 2, 3, sometimes even 5 years, people who've been, you know, OG loyals.
The product, your products, right? Like, do you source high quality products?
Yeah, 100%. And that's the benefit as well.
Does it make a difference, like the quality of the actual produce?
Yeah, that's all it is. And look, every day you're battling with suppliers, you know, it's, I tell the team, it's like, all right, you're never going to get your buns, your veggies, your sauce, your beef, your cheese all right. One day something's going to be up or down. And it's about creating or using your technique and putting the extra effort in to make sure it comes out as great.
Comes out as good.
But yeah,
consistency is key, right?
That's it. And so if one day it's a 10 out of 10, next day it's rubbish, people will be so quick to say, oh, it fell off, or you know, Chebbo's dropped its standard, or they sold out. Like with any big franchise in Australia, everyone wants to jump on the thing and say, oh yeah, you know, their standards dropped and it was great before.
Well, you hear that about like Ojana a lot. It's like, the original Ojana was mad, but now like the franchise model, I think the chips aren't the same, or the chicken's not the same, or the fry, like, so you're gonna, there's an element of when you scale, there has to be a hit somewhere. You can't do everything perfectly at scale, but you got to work out what the right trade-off is. I think buying high quality produce is something that if you skimp out on, bro, people find you out very quickly. Because, bro, it's going in the mouth, and if it doesn't taste right, it doesn't taste right. You know what I mean?
Can taste old onions straight away, or if bread's stale and you've tried to extend its life, you can taste that. So,
I think the benefit of only doing the beef burgers is that we can only focus on high quality beef, high quality veggies, high quality, you know, everything else. And it's allowed us to refine it over the years. So I was saying to you guys before, the burger that we first started off with, it was a 90-gram patty and a 90-gram bun. So you're getting all bun and like barely any patty. Now the ratios are completely opposite, where, you know, you're getting more meat to the bun. Pretty much every week I'm trying to, all right, change this technique so that when we're salting the patty, it's much better, because whether you salt a patty or not will make it a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. And something so small as the grill person glancing over the patty means that person is going to be like, oh, what the hell, Chebbo's has no flavour. So many more.
But you know what you're doing? You're always trying to do those 1%ers.
100%, that's all it is. Because, the recipe's there. It's a smash burger. It's not, you know, we're not making a beef Wellington. It's about the very few simple steps that we do. How can we train the team to notice the importance in them and take them seriously and do it every time? And just small tweaks that can help.
But you're always going back to your product. You keep talking about your product.
Yeah, 100%.
So I feel like maybe we should weigh the product a little bit higher than your marketing of the product.
Yeah, look, that's because that's what the question was. So while the product is, you know, the hero, social media definitely did help in terms of getting the name out. So for example, we mentioned with that, we're at the Easter show. Majority of the customers there are people who would have seen me on TikTok years ago, but never been around Marrickville or Roseanne to try. And so it's created like an awesome community of people that have, you know, followed me and supported me, and shown up when they had the chance, and even opportunities with TikTok, the company itself, or, you know, collabs with like Logan Paul, which I did, which was able to be pretty cool, where Mike made like his mate tried my burgers. It's hand in hand. I'd say, look, if let's say I didn't touch TikTok this whole time, I'd still say we'd do pretty well. But it's really helped accelerate the process.
It's on steroids because of the socials.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And that comes with challenges as well sometimes, because if we're doing, like back when we first started, we were doing 500 burgers a night out of a tent. How it was, I can't guarantee that. Chaos. I can't guarantee that the burgers we were doing on a Bunnings grill were all 100%. And so there was a bit of a trade-off there where we were a bit too busy for what we were now. We can probably handle that now, but yeah, it's a double-edged sword that if you're not ready for the crowds and the virality and
you got to be ready. We found that out. We actually started our business in 2012, and we really didn't start pushing marketing or social or anything like that till about 2023. So we had like almost a 10-year runway of perfecting back office, offshore production, training, software, systems, experience. So
you were ready for.
Like when we went to comp, which is social media, we were like a fine chiseled bodybuilder ready for like Olympia. Do you know what I mean? We were like, everything that came in, we absorbed it, and we did the work better than the client expectation. I struggle to understand how new businesses get all that virality and all that attention at the same time as having to learn how to put out all the fires of being a new business. Like having to deal with the challenge of volume and the challenge of quality at the same time is one of the hardest things you could possibly do as a business owner. So having gone through that and survived, bro, that's a badge of honor. You know what I mean?
And like, I think we can both agree your product isn't necessarily the burger or the tax return or whatever it is, or the advisory, it's the systems. Because you can have an amazing ability to look at data and give a client an analysis, or I can make an amazing burger. But how good is that if the system falls apart once we get more volume through it?
Correct.
All right. How did you know when it was time to scale? And specifically speaking, you went from 1 to 2 locations. This is a big debate Tufik and I always have, because we're in Sydney, we're in Marrickville, we want to go to Melbourne, we're opening Melbourne, and like we're talking about Brisbane, and it's like, when is the right time to pull the trigger? What was it for you?
Look, I wouldn't even say that we've scaled. Like, we've done 2, but we've just met demand.
Did you start with 2 initially?
No, just the one. So it was the tent, then the trailer, then the truck, and then now the store. And the store should have come 2 years earlier, but council issues and construction, obviously, which everyone faces. But I feel like you're ready when you've got the demand for it. And obviously there is some instances where if you're doing well enough at your other locations and you feel like you can provide, then you've got the capacity to. But it's when things are nice and smooth and you've got the right people in place that can deal with the stuff that you'd be typically wrestling. So for example, the truck, I've got a great manager there who is pretty much like a second me, where he knows, all right, when this goes wrong, when that goes wrong, how do you fix it? Where I don't have to worry about it. But if I didn't have him there and I'd have to stretch myself across the 2 locations, it'd be terrible.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Yeah,
what's your thought process on when you go from 1 to 2 locations or double your offices?
Look, I've always been a believer, and I've always said this to John. If I don't believe we can take on another client and do it well, I don't want another client, right?
100%.
We want to be perfect in what we do. So when we do go to market and say, hey guys, consider us, use us, we're good at what we do. I want to be good at what we do, right? So when we say, let's go to another location, we got to be able to do it as well as location 1, provide the clients with the same service, give them the same damn burger with the exact same system, and make sure that it happens perfectly, right? So when we're ready to do that, I'm happy to do that, which we are ready to do that.
Yeah, this is why we're pushing.
Which is why we're opening Melbourne. So on that note, is there a third? Have you thought about it?
Yeah. So it's been a year now at Marrickville and so much learning. So the launch, which was insane, and then even though it's the same menu between the truck and the store, there was just so many more variables and like all same systems to set up to ensure that the service and the quality and the prep is all maintained. A third is I'm actively looking now, but there's a few more things to tie up.
Can you drop a hint as the regions?
Oh, look, I'd say out west.
Out west, Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Maryland?
Which street? Which site? What's the DP on the site?
Like, it's there, but
There's still a few more things to tie up at Marrickville in terms of like leadership and stuff, but like it's possible now where I think that we've got a good system to train and hire, and that's all it is.
And the
just training
product will be the same, as good.
Yeah, that's it. Because I like to tell people, I was on the grills for the first 3 years of the business, Thursday to Sunday night, every single night.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let anyone touch it because that was just
your product.
Yeah, that was my product. But now I've got a system where the guy and the girls and that truck is better than me.
Yeah. Do you want to shout him out?
Oh, shout out Rohan.
Rahan, right, you're a legend.
yeah. So
Rahan's Burgers.
let's see. No, look, he does well enough. And he tells me he wants to go back to Nepal and start his own. I'm like, there you go.
It's a long way to travel for your customers. All right, man. Our last guest on, his name was Nathan. Mm-hmm. He had a question for you because we'll do a pay it forward question. Nathan said, seeing as cost of living is so high and people are struggling, is there any way you could help the people by bringing a low cost? How can you meet the need of the fact that people don't have money to pay their mortgage, their bills and that, and then they're rocking up to your business?
Yeah.
How do you feel your business meets the need of everyday Australian that is struggling with cost of living?
Yeah.
Look, in terms of pricing, I'd say we're pretty like reasonable. So it's $12 a burger. You can get a small meal for $20. And so that's, right, I think we hit that mark. But in terms of getting their worth, that's where you've got to meet it with the quality. You know, you'd rather spend, and I tell the team this all the time, they'd rather spend $30 on a great burger than $20 on an average burger. So, yeah, all right, they're coming with their $20 to get a meal. If that's a great burger and a great time that they've had with their mates and the service was amazing, they're happy. Even though things are tight, the moment they the once a week or the once a month time they go out to eat, if it meets their expectations, whether it's $20 or $40, if we can be there and provide that, the great product, great experience, then I think
that's the
we're all
value,
willing
isn't
to. Yeah.
You're actually selling a burger, you're selling an experience.
Yeah.
And if they're paying $20 for a really nice experience, enjoying the meals, enjoying customer service, enjoying waiting in the line, like the fun of it, the social media, the music,
people around.
and they leave and they go, you know what, bro, how can, that was actually really fun, I want to do that again. I did say I went to Spanian's kebabs. One of the things I liked about it was I was sitting on milk crates, I was with my family, like it was weird. It was like a different environment, and like that was an experience that we'd only ever done that time, eating that way, like all meeting to sit on milk crates somewhere in the front of some cart. Like that's a fun experience too. You know what I mean?
That's a good vibe.
Look, I see where Nathan's coming from. He wants value.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, cost of living. We understand everything is becoming more expensive. But John, we were just talking about 1 minute ago how the hospitality industry is brutal. You know what I mean? I think we need to be a little bit more gracious with these people, with people in the hospitality industry. You came out and said we should be paying $8 for a coffee, which I agree with, right? We need to be more gracious because, mate, they work hard. I was telling Chebbo before, I was at a kebab shop like a year ago, and these poor blokes in Fairfield, if it was a shawarma shop in Fairfield, charged like $12 for a kebab. Some lady walked in and argued with him and basically forced him to take like 10 kebabs at $10 as opposed to $12. Discount. You know what gets me, right? This guy, he makes the shawarma. He spends all day making it, right? Has his spices. They don't buy, they think, because they buy it in bulk, they get cheaper produce. No, in fact, they have to buy better produce because they're selling it to you in a shop. Shops don't buy cheap produce. They buy good produce, right? This is why they are good at what they do, right? He puts like 250 grams. That's like 300 grams raw. So he's putting in $3 of meat. Yes. He's putting in $1.50 of veggies and the bread, plus the garlic, sauce, plus cheese, the electricity, plus everything. These guys at Fairfield, I'll guarantee you, they're not looking at their cost of goods in detail. Correct. But it's probably costing them, I reckon, say $7. $6-7 to make it, and he's selling it for $12.
Let's be honest.
That's horrific. That's a terrible margin.
Let's be honest. Most retail, hospitality businesses, cafes, restaurants are barely making a profit, and a lot of them are only surviving because they're not paying their tax dollars. Do you know what I mean? Like they're literally providing a service at cost or below cost. Yep. So every time you walk into a Sydney restaurant or cafe, you're probably paying less than what it costs to produce that value that's ending up on your plate. If we understood that and stop seeing it as a competition between you and them, they're providing you a service at almost cost price, bro. You should thank them. You should leave them a 5-star review. Do you know what I mean?
For $15 for a burger, I value my time at home. If I'm going to make a burger, it's going to take me half an hour, right? And
I make videos, bro. It costs me $60 sometimes to get ingredients for a burger for a video.
That's what I mean. And let's say my time, let's say I value my time at $100 an hour. Yep. Therefore, if I spend 20 minutes making a burger.
But bro, go to the shops, forget 20 minutes. Go to the shops, drive there, go in, the time you spend, the rubbish, useless stuff, they use psychology to sell you when you're there. You end up, bro, do you ever leave Woolies or Coles spending less than $100?
Got a bag of chips and a yogurt.
You buy this rubbish, you buy that rubbish. Honestly, bro, it's not expensive.
And the margin's there. Like you're paying, I bought, because I'm an idiot, the 3 capsicums in the pack for $10. A capsicum per kilo, you can get a couple kilos for that.
Yeah.
But they're ripping you off. Yeah.
But like when you order for your shop, when you order veg, etc., you ask them for grade 8s, grade 1s.
Yeah,
whatever they're called. You don't
and
get
you
the
blast the
third
supplies
grade
if they're
at the cheap fruit shop that sells avocados for $3 a kilo.
Yeah.
Right, or sells lettuce at $1.50 a head. You're not paying $1.50 a head. No. You know what I mean? When it's and it fluctuates, man. Sometimes
tomatoes sometimes $30 a box, sometimes $80 a box.
Yeah. And you got to keep producing at $20.
Yeah, exactly.
And you sell your burger at the same price.
Same price.
Well, we had the lettuce lettuce gate last year, 2 years ago, where bro, it was $12 for a lettuce.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And so we could either keep getting lettuce and pay, I think it was like a kilo was like 30 something, or we can go cabbage. But there was that, and so
what'd you do?
We still went with lettuce, and like
you
we
probably had
survived.
$1 of lettuce in every burger.
Yeah, instead of the.
But you still had to sell it for $15.
Yeah.
Have you put your price up with inflation?
We were $11, I think, last year. I think we are very well due for a $13 burger, internally, but I'm thinking with my heart, not my head.
Tufik always says if you put your prices up 20% and lose 20% of your customers, you make the same profit for 20% less work.
Exactly. And customers won't care
you do
paying
it.
13.
Yeah.
But it's just, Sometimes you think with your heart instead.
Chebbo, it's been really good to have you on. Before I let you go, because it's a very rare opportunity to have you here in our Blackout office, what question do you think we should ask our next guest?
Put on the spot here. I should have been thinking of it when I was asked the previous one. What question should I ask the previous guest? Oh, sorry.
Next guest.
Ask the next guest. We spoke a lot about product today. If you could narrow down your product by half, what would you get rid of and what would you keep?
That's a really good question. If you could narrow down your product by half, just on that note, what would you get rid of? What would you keep? Don't say which staff you get rid of.
No, but you know we did.
Yeah.
We did about 2 years ago.
Bookkeeping. We got rid of bookkeeping.
We got rid of
and we kept
product.
accounting.
And what changed?
We made a 10 times better business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get rid of the stuff that holds you back. Mate, on that note, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks,
appreciate the story, advice.
circumstances.
I'm so sorry about the
You're good.
blackout.
It's all right.
But this makes it a very unique podcast. This is a one of one blackout podcast. Thanks for coming in, bro.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Chebbo.
Thank you.